Welcome to my third online lecture on prerequisite atomic bonding. In previous lecture, we have covered atomic structure, different atomic models. After that, the periodic table and the energy level and the different cells, subcells we have cleared in our lecture, last lecture. In this lecture, the learning outcome of this lecture, the learner will, at this end of this lesson, you will be able to identify different types of primary bonds and secondary bonding. How the type of bonding affect the material properties. So that will be learned. So in previous lecture, we have studied the importance of atomic structure and bonding. The atomic structure determines a type of bonding. What are the atoms they have, the detailed structure studied. The bonding decides the properties of material, means whatever the bonds are formed by the atoms to each other, that will decide their properties. How they behave, what are those properties, we will study later on. One example that will clear you: in graphite, carbon bond covalently in the plane, making a layer, and has van der Waals forces between the layers. The graphite metal are very soft. The layers can slide relative to each other. Okay, it's used in pencil. You can imagine how the graphite metal is there. But in diamond, the same carbon atom is there. See how it will behave. The same atom, carbon atom is there in graphite, and in diamond, the same carbon atom is there. In diamond, the carbon atoms are covalently bonded to four other atoms that will make hardest material known. Okay, so this is the bonding will affect the properties of material that will show, and the same atom of carbon atom is there in both the case. Okay, and similarly, metals have weaker metallic bonds. They may be ductile. Okay, ceramics have a stronger covalent bond or ionic bonds. So we'll shortly review the atomic structure. An atom consists of nucleus. Inside the nucleus, there is a proton plus neutron, and electrons are orbiting around it. And protons are positively charged. Neutrons is a neutral particle. Electron is negatively charged particles. Atomic number represented by Z is nothing but the number of protons present in the nucleus. An atom is electrically neutral. That number of electrons is equal to number of protons. So the charge of electron is 1.10⁻19 in Coulomb. Okay. So this is the atomic structure. So atomic model suggested by the Bohr model. We have in the last lecture already covered the 5 various scientists. Out of this, Niels Bohr has given this model, suggested this model. What he was said, the Bohr atomic model proposes that electrons move in orbit around the nucleus in a discrete orbitals, like a K, L, M, N, O, V, like this, having specific energy levels at this K level orbit and L orbit, M orbit. At different orbit, there different electrons are moving, and different orbit having different energy levels. The position of electrons in the orbitals is well defined. At each orbit, there is a number of electrons are defined. An electron can change orbit by emitting or absorbing the quanta of energy. Means when this position of this electron will change, that will release the energy, and it will gain the energy. Okay. So this is the nucleus and these are the electrons. So this is the atomic model suggested by the Bohr, but in Bohr's model could not explain the spectra of atoms containing more than one electron. That will be suggested only suitable for the hydrogen. It is whatever he was said. It is properly understood only in hydrogen. More than one or two electrons are there. In that case, it is not possible to understood. That will violate Heisenberg uncertainty principle, since Bohr model predict both the position and momentum at the same time. But also Heisenberg also is not suitable. After this, the wave mechanical model is suggested by the next scientist, and this wave mechanical model uh, is take over the limitations of Bohr model and was resolved by this model, and the electrons are considered to have behave both wave-like and particle-like. You see, this is a suggestion that the electrons are no longer treated as a particle moving in discrete orbitals. The position of electron is described by they are in cloud. They are moving surrounding nucleus in a cloud, and this position of electron is described by probability distribution. See, this is the probability and distance of electrons. So suppose this nucleus and distance of electrons is here, and at this position from this center to this distance, the more electrons, there is a probability of this electrons will be there, and this probability is a maximum according to Bohr's radius. Bohr predicted some radius, and that radius is also similar to Bohr, and this is the curve shows the here the maximum number of electrons, the probability of the electrons here at this distance from the nucleus. So this is a wave mechanical model suggested by scientists. Okay. So after this, going to the bonding, atomic bonding, we must clear the what is the force between two atoms and energy versus the separation distance of the two atoms. When the two atoms here by this pink color, the two atoms are represented. The two atoms are with radius small r and capital R. They come that may be cation and anion. When they come closer or move away from the distance away from each other, there will be the two types of forces. That may be attraction force, represented by this line. They may be repulsion force. See, this is the line, repulsion force. The net force is represented by the black line. See here, the black line will be here, and this x-axis represents the distance between these two atoms, and y-axis represents this force. When the net force we calculate, it will touch here at x-axis, where the atomic force, that may be not negative or positive, it becomes zero. That means the atoms are stable, and always the atoms are try to get stable its position, and at this distance a0 or that may be r0 is always try to obtain this position. And in terms of energy, the how it is proved, we can clear through this diagram of potential energy versus this distance. See, same two atoms are there, and these atoms are separated at position this A0, okay, or R0. Can A0 is the distance at this position. This energy, net energy, represented by this black line, this is a repulsion energy, while this repulsion between these two atoms, and this is the attraction represented by this dotted line, and this is the net energy by black line. See here, the dotted line, vertical line, is represent this position of A0 when these two atoms are come to closer at a distance of A0. Here the energy is maximum. It shows the maximum energy is there. Okay, so that will prove the atoms will be stable. Okay. So this intra-ionic distance is represented by A. That will be attraction between these two atoms in between the nucleus of this atom and the electrons of this another atom. There may be possibility of attraction between this nucleus and these electrons, and this nucleus with these electrons. Then there is the attraction force. And when will the repulsion? Repulsion will be the when this come closer, this repulsion between this same charge nucleus that will repel to each other. Okay, so like this repulsion and attraction force will be there, and that concept you must be clear. That's why it is shown to you. So this attractive force Fa here represented, same diagram is there. Attractive force and repulsive force, and this net force. This here it is represented by R0, and in previous figure it was represented by A0, and this is the potential energy represented by this diagram. So atomic interaction. What will this atomic interaction? The attractive force due to the electrostatic attraction. Attractive force between two atoms due to the electrostatic attraction between the electrons and nucleus. And repulsive force when the separation is less than equilibrium proportion between the nuclei and electrons of interacting atoms. At equilibrium separation, net force is 0. Means here at where the dotted line, when it cut it to x-axis here or here, this separation net force is 0, and potential energy is very minimum. This is a minimum potential energy represented. That means the force is 0. So higher bond energy E naught. That will also this bond energy when it will high, the melting point is also high, or higher the elastic modulus. How it is represented? Suppose I'll draw here one more line of this energy, and it will represent it like this. The energy at this curve, that may be more than this one. So what will happen then? Their melting point will be high. The atomic bonding form in this energy is like this. They're having melting point is high, or elastic modulus is very high. So we have studied this energy concept, bond force concept, but in this lecture we have to clear this atomic bonding. There are two types of interatomic bonds are there. First is the primary interatomic bond, and second is the secondary bond. Under these primary bonds, there are three types: ionic, covalent, and metallic bonds. In secondary bonds, there are van der Waals bond forces and the hydrogen bonds. So, going to the first ionic bond. Ionic bond is between these metallic and non-metallic atoms. Generally, it will form in between the metallic and non-metallic atoms. In metallic atoms, they have the tendency. They have the free electrons outer side, like in sodium, this Na, the electrons are 281. It is given in shell. This KLM, this one is the electron outer shell. That's why this sodium is unstable. Similarly, the chlorine is a non-metallic element, and it's unstable. Why? Because the here last shell is 7 electrons are there. Like electrons are shown here 287. This is the sodium atom with the electrons 287. So atomic number is given 17, here atomic number is 11. So according to this, these electrons which are not having the dipole octet at this final shell. That's why what will happen? They are unstable. So they try to every time these atoms are try to get stabilized. So metallic atom give the valence electrons. So these are the valence electrons. It will give to the non-metallic atoms. So like this here it is given the non-metallic atom, and the Coulombic there is a Coulombic attraction between these two positively charged ions. Whatever the charge ions, these ions, electron and this nucleus, that will form the bond, and that nothing but the ionic bond. This ionic bond between this, see some examples are shown on this periodic table. Predominant bonding in ceramics, NaCl. See, these are the on left side. It is shown. These are the metallic, and here on this side, right side, these are the non-metallic. Acquire the electrons means electropositive, electronegative it is more here on this side, and electropositivity is here. Means give up the electrons by the metals, and these are the non-metallics. They will accept the electrons, acquire the electrons. So these are the some example: NaCl, NGO, CF2, CSCl. Bondings are for form ionic bonds. Next type of bonding is covalent bond. In this type of bonding, atoms share, not give. Like in last case, these are the share permanently, and valence electrons to get this stable the configuration. Every time the atoms try to stabilize, so how they stabilize? By sharing the atoms. This is a diagram. It is shown a cloud of these electrons surrounding the nucleus. The two hydrogen molecules are combinedly, and they share the uh, electrons, and the electron pair that will form a covalent bonding. The bonding at interaction. So this is the one of the example of this CH4. The CH4 C atom has electrons 2, 4, and hydrogen. C means carbon, and H is hydrogen atom. Electrons having 1. The sharing of electrons that will stabilize the electrons. The sharing of electrons from one atom to another, that will stabilize, and here the 4 carbon are represented by the blue, and this red, and this blue is for the hydrogen, and there are sharing between these two electrons. This sharing between these two electrons, and that will form the CH4. So this type of the bonding in methane is nothing but the covalent bonds. Next, third type is the metallic bond. So the metallic bond, there is no giving the electrons or the acceptance of electrons, but these are the not sharing also. But here atoms are or ions, here positively charged ions and neutral charged ions inside this metal. They are fixed in position in this crystal. And the valence electrons means the electrons surrounding this inside the surrounding to atom, they are free, and these free electrons forming an electron cloud surrounding to this. They are forming the electron cloud. They are free inside the metal, and that is the reason due to these free electrons, the atoms of metals are very high conductivity. Okay, the metallic bond arises due to the Coulombic attraction between these two oppositely charged species, and the electron cloud and the ion cores. Okay, means what will happen between these two oppositely charged species? The electrons and clouds and the ion cores will form the metallic bonds. In secondary type bonding, there are two bondings are there: van der Waals bonding and the The van der Waals bonding is due to the dipole. See, this is the atom with the positive and neutral charge. Again, another atom here, positive neutral charge. There is attraction between the dipoles, oppositely charged. And this secondary bonding is as compared to weaker than the primary bonding. Weaker in comparison to primary bonds. Typically 10 kilojoule per mole is the bonding energy given by the scientist, and these bondings are arranged due to atoms or molecule dipoles. Here it is shown the dipoles with positively and negatively charged, uh, which form due to separation of positive and negative species of an atom or molecule. So that's why they are also weaker bonds than the primary bonds. The bonding results from Coulombic attraction between the positive dipole negative of one atom to the negative or positive of adjacent atom. In graphite is the example. In first slide already we covered the graphite bonding between the layer. Between this is the graphite layer, which is made up of the covalent bonds. But inside this one layer and this is the second layer, there is a bond is there that is called van der Waals bond, and that's why you can see the graphite are inside the pencil. Easily you can uh, uh, imagine the by observing the graphite. Okay, so how it is weaker bonds are in graphite. Secondary bonding is the hydrogen bonding. Here, this hydrogen bonding is found in some of the molecules that have the hydrogen as one of the constituents. In which molecules the hydrogen is one of the constituent, there is a hydrogen bonding. That one of the example is the hydrogen bonding is H2O, and in that also electrostatic interaction between the hydrogen and another atom of high electronegativity, they will form the hydrogen bonding. The water molecule is a good example of this bonding between the hydrogen of one molecule with the oxygen of another molecule. So this is studied all the types of different bonds and bond types, bond strength and properties. This is a comparison between these all bonds. See here, ionic and covalent bond, metallic bonds, van der Waals bond, and hydrogen bond. The ionic covalent bonds are high bond strength with 450 to 1000 kilojoule per mole. And here this Hg 68 kg per mole or W8449 kg per mole. And here moderate bond strength is there. Here is the high bond strength. As compared to these three, the van der Waals bond are weak, and the bond strength is weak in hydrogen also. But when the bond strength is high, what will happen? The melting point is also high, strength and hardness also high. Similarly, in metallic bonds, bond strength is high, and melting point strength or hardness also increases with the atomic number. In metallic, the atomic number is high. According to that, their bond strength, melting point, strength, hardness increases. How is the number of atomic number inside the metal increases the all these things. Okay, the behavior of the metallic bond is ductile. Okay, already you studied in diploma. The behavior may be ductile, and but in ionic or covalent bonds, their behavior is brittle. Okay? And example are ceramics and diamond. So these are this is a comparison of these various types of bonds, and this contribution of bond types here some representation to clear your idea. In covalent bonds for a few applications it represented for covalent semiconductor, or in between this covalent and secondary bonding the polymers are there, and in between ionic and covalent bonds here represented by the ceramics and glasses. and here metallic bond with the metals represented the some clear you the idea. So friends, these are the ionic bond, different types of bonding, how these bondings will affect to each other, and the properties are how much is dependent. See, this is a bonding property and interaction between this bonding that will representation of the total your metal. When we utilize any application for that material, that will be representation to the bonding atomic structure. Inside the bonding, whatever the properties are there, whatever the strength will be there, that will represented in the whole substance. Okay, and that's why it is necessary to clear your idea the what are the different types of bonding. So this is the lecture. I will conclude with this lecture. Thank you very much.